Hello there. So today I want to talk a little bit about some of the benefits of podcasting, and particularly a benefit that doesn't get talked about a huge amount, which is the networking potential of podcasting. Now, I had a meeting with someone the other day and it really brought it home for me how beneficial this is, and I've experienced it in my own journey as well. So just specifically zeroing in on this aspect of it, let's talk about how you can use a network, or you can use a podcast, to grow your network. So let's say you're quite small in an industry, maybe you've just joined it, or maybe you're a very small player. How do you network with other people, your peers, people you look up to, your customers, people that you want to just connect with and learn from? Well, starting a podcast is a fantastic way, a fantastic excuse to reach out to these people and have a one-on-one. Now, particularly if your podcast is established and has a following, and that's a great sell. There's a sort of this for that kind of exchange. Obviously, you get to interview these people, they get on the podcast and get a bit of exposure. But even if you're just starting out, for a lot of these people, particularly if it's in a niche industry or something that isn't particularly kind of cool or sexy, they might not get asked to be on a podcast very often. So it's kind of a unique request for them. So you can use, to a certain degree, people's ego and their interest in growing their brand, their personal brand or their business to your advantage. So I would say be ambitious with not only your podcast, but the people that you reach out to. And you might be surprised at the caliber of guests you can get, particularly if you make that process easy, if you're flexible with your scheduling, if you maybe do it on Zoom rather than in person, so it really is restricted to them logging onto Zoom and being ready to go straight away rather than having to, elaborate process of setting up cameras and mics and, booking a meeting room or a studio, having to travel. Like, all of those complications make it harder. So make the process as simple as possible for your guest. Now, the networking benefits are obvious. They not only get to meet you and you get to meet them, but you can have a very personal, friendly one-on-one with them in an environment where would you otherwise have an opportunity to do that? It's very hard just to sit down and have a meeting with someone for sort of no real reason, particularly if you don't have anything overt to offer them. So, it's a huge opportunity for that. And it's a starting point for a relationship. So not only do you get that point of interviewing them and having a conversation with them, but then that door is opened to them when the episode comes out, recontacting them, hopefully if they are happy with the episode and they like the way it's been packaged and tightened up and shared and edited, then they will share it with their community and you'll form a bit of a bond with them, and you can reshare it from them and grow their post on your social media and forming that connection, not just, like I say, with the initial interview, but then doing all the follow-up, which is all those touch points with that person to solidify that relationship. Now, you can also not only get that benefit from meeting that person, but also, if you want to push it that little bit further, maybe you can have them introduce you to other people that they think would be a good interview for you. So, yeah, maybe you might think maybe this is a bit cheeky to start off with, but once you form that relationship and, hopefully they're happy with the end result, they might be happy to do that. It's a single line email. Say, if you have any colleagues that you think would be great to interview on my podcast, I'd love for an introduction. Something simple as that. And, if you're too busy, feel free to ignore this message, something like that. But, in many, many respects, it's really great reason to make contact with these people, multiple touch points with these people, and then expanding as a result. So the other thing is that as you get higher profile guests, whether that's broadly high profile or high profile within your industry or your area of expertise, guests beget more guests. So high quality guests, they've shown trust in you, and they've shown put value on into you, and that encourages others to do the same. There's a bit of validation that goes on there of a high profile guest validating that you are valuable, which puts other guests' mind at ease that, okay, so and so was on the pod, maybe I can do a similar thing. So you can see how that grows. And like I say, in terms of networking, it's a fantastic reason to make contact with people who might otherwise be out of your reach, at least right now. And, just keep the ball rolling and use that momentum to go for more and higher quality, or, people that are more influential or difficult to reach. Just build and build and build to get to that point. And then, of course, as your connections grow, as your network, flourishes, you'll be able to take it to the next level. And then also, those guests may become listeners. So they might start listening to your podcast because they had a good time, they made a connection with you, they're clearly interested in the subject matter that you're talking about. So they're maybe listening to you week on week without you even realizing. So that's, again, further solidifying that relationship. So podcasting for networking, it's pretty much a win-win. If you have something of value to offer them and you can learn from them, make connections with them as interviewer to interviewee, fantastic. So those are my thoughts on networking and podcasting. I hope that was interesting and helpful. And tell me about your experiences and what you've experienced in terms of the networking side of the podcasting space. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.